My pranams to Sri Ramakrishna, Mother Sharada, and Swami Vivekananda. My respects to all the revered monks, and my deepest gratitude to revered Balabhadranandaji Maharaj for asking me to stand here and share my ideas with you. It is like a huge round circle. Almost 40 years back, in the same campus, I was a youngster like you. We had a long youth convention, and I was leading the team from our state, which had about more than 150 delegates coming to Belur Mutt. That was a shaping moment, a transformative moment. And if I stand here in front of you 4 decades later, you can see how the whole tradition is transformative. It is Sri Ramakrishna who fashioned Narendranath Datta into Swami Vivekananda. It is Swami Vivekananda who fashioned Margaret Noble into Sister Nivedita. All my young friends who are here are facing that transformative moment. But as you heard our revered Swamijis tell you, transformation from within, self-transformation, self-improvement, that is what we require. Revered Maharaj has given me a vast topic, but 25 minutes is all that is there. I would like to speak about various things without giving you information. Because Swami Vivekananda said, information is usually undigested. And today information is available on Google. So if you know who is Sister Nivedita, well and good. At lunchtime, please discuss it with others. There might be some who might have just heard or not heard about who is Sister Nivedita. I'm not going to tell you anything about the factual details of her biography. The topic is Sister Nivedita as a role model. The 2 key factors here are sacrifice and patriotism. Can we, as a collective group of youngsters, not me of course, all of you, can all of us take this opportunity to start a path of sacrifice and patriotism? Let us take that challenge today. I have tried to divide what I'm going to say into 4 divisions. Of course, the 2 terms are there. One is sacrifice and one is patriotism. The other 2, comes under the role model. What are the life skills which Nivedita had? What are the values which she practiced, which made her sacrifice and which made her patriotic? And from that point, I will conclude by saying, what is it that we want as an action plan? In our shlokas, you heard Swamiji's reciting beautifully. There is always at the end, Phalashruti. Today we call it takeaway. I'm an English teacher. We say, what is the takeaway? What is the takeaway, my young friends? The takeaway is that we are going to start with a self-improvement program which collectively or individually we will take up in the small action plan which I will suggest to you. Let us begin with the term sacrifice. Margaret Noble was born into a family where sacrifice was there. So she had a 2-fold ability to sacrifice. Before she was born, her mother said, if this child is born safely, she's the eldest, then I sacrifice her to God. While she was growing up, her father, who was a clergyman, said, if the higher call comes for my daughter, please let her sacrifice. In one of the letters which Swami Vivekananda wrote to her, he wrote that we need the sacrifice of some great people. So there was this grounding of sacrifice. So what did she sacrifice? All her comfort zone. She was Irish born, from Scotland, settled and working as a headmistress in London. close to it. But she willingly sacrificed to come to India. You can imagine how different the cultures then were. 1898, India was totally different from what it is in 2023. So you have to understand how she was sacrificing her entire culture, her food, her lifestyle, the rejection of the people because her skin was not the brown skin which we have. It was a different color. So there was all this problem. Nivedita sacrificed also, great things like her life. You heard Swamiji's mention this point, giving up the fear of death. When she worked for the plague, she never thought, we have faced the pandemic, all of you know how much fear there is. That ability to conquer the fear, to sacrifice our life, that is a great thing. How much we hesitate, how much we speak about all this. Now, she has also sacrificed attitudes of the Western people. Nivedita's character, we must remember, is an ideal of Swami Vivekananda because he was trying to merge the West and the East. He said, let us take the best from the West and let us take the best from the East. So here is a girl who has come, who has given herself to India, who has even given up her name, sacrifice. Many of us are very proud of our name. We say, oh, I'm so and so. You go to a function and they don't introduce you. I had this experience. Maharaj was just sharing his experiences. I can do that. The chief guest got up and said, she did not say this about me. Who are we? We are mere instruments in the hands of Thakur Ma Swamiji. We are nobody. This Nivedita knew and she sacrificed. She sacrificed her firm belief in the religion to which she was born because she was searching for truth. She said, I experimented with Buddhism. I found many things which are wonderful. Swami Vivekananda spoke very often about Buddha. I'm sure if you read the complete works, you will know about it. And then she heard Swami Vivekananda, 1895. Many of her friends said, oh, we have heard this before, nothing great. It was Sister Nivedita, Margaret Noble of that day, highly intellectual, very much respected, who said, no, I think I have heard something great today. She was willing to sacrifice her closed mind, the closed mind of the West, because the West at that time, especially UK, was ruling us. They said, oh, what is new in India? Nothing new. Here was a young girl who said, no, I have heard something great. Then she writes in her book about Swami Vivekananda, the master as I saw him, that I respected the character of this person for which I bow down to him and I call him my master. She was not always accepting whatever Swamiji said. She used to have real conflict. But at the end, when she wrote many books after Swamiji's mortal body was not there, she said, every word I write is only a reflection of it. We know Swami Vivekananda also said the same thing, that if I speak anything, it is my master who's speaking through me, not me. This is a great tradition for all of us, especially you youngsters, to come into. So we learn sacrifice. Then patriotism. Patriotism in those days meant national regeneration. So when Swami Vivekananda said man-making, Nivedita being a good student, the good student teacher expects will do better. As a good student, she said, nation-making. Not enough to make the man, time to make the nation. We heard about regeneration. I'm sure you have noted or recollected. Use the soft copy. You have a head-top computer. Otherwise, use a hard copy. Please use these ideas for the next maybe 100 years or as long as you're alive. Because whatever Swamijis have told you is very important to make us patriotic. We are all generations who are born in a free country. But what about patriotism? Nivedita comes from another country. Her first allegiance was to UK, to England. When they showed, this is India. Who do you think are the rulers? She said, oh, they are the British. My ruler is the British. Look at the transformation. In her school, when she asked the students, who is the Queen of India? They said Queen Victoria. She said, no, Sita is your queen. Thank you, Mother. If you read her book, Cradle Tales of Hinduism, wonderful book, children's book, so beautiful, shows her patriotism when it comes to the traditions of India, the spiritual tradition, the cultural tradition. Today the word Hinduism, Maharaj also mentioned, is under a lot of scanner. Do we have Hinduism? Do we have Hindutva? Do we have Sanatan Dharma? That is what YouTube is doing to all of you. It is giving a lot of information. There was no ability of social media to impact anybody at that time. What impacted Nivedita was the love for India. She says that my master had only one love in his life, and that was his motherland. So when I want to be patriotic, it is this motherland that I love. She writes in The Web of Indian Life about the Indian family, about the Indian woman. Swamiji was mentioning how important women were in the scheme. She writes great things about Sharada Devi being a model for the West and the East. You know, a Western woman writing this gives us a sense of glory. There are hundreds of such instances of patriotism. She did not think patriotism was away from art, science, or, youth training, all these things. One point where she was slightly deviating was the political aspect. She said, I really cannot be 100% devoted to my master's organization because I would like to help the political activists also. Therefore, she changed her name by saying Nivedita of Ramakrishna Vivekananda. Then she went to Brahmanandaji Maharaj and said, Maharaj, I am there for you, but please permit me to also help in the political upliftment. Because she said, freedom is something, I'm sorry, which is most important for India to be rejuvenated. Her patriotism we find in the way she helped Jagadish Chandra Bose, in the way she inspired the making of our first national flag. You can see it in a picture where she puts the thunderbolt. She wanted our youngsters to be like the thunderbolt. So all these are very important aspects. What are the skills which we learn from her? Her listening ability, which brings her close to Vivekananda's message. We are all listening, but are we listening like Nivedita listened to Vivekananda? That is important. Her ability to speak. She was a very powerful speaker. She went abroad and for a long time she gave ideas about India, about Indian life, about Indian women. Once in the US, she was heckled. They said, you are talking rubbish. she writes a letter to Josephine McLeod, feeling very sad, saying, if the audience is cursing me, how can I speak? But I speak from my heart. I have that feeling for India. So her ability to speak and write, she wrote many books. She said, I want to earn money for my school, but those books are masterpieces. Then she had critical thinking. Very important for us to have critical thinking, because today we are bombarded with so much information, we all accept it as true. A WhatsApp video comes, we forward it to 20 friends. Next day somebody tells us, oh, it is a fake video. We have something called deep fake today. I'm sure you've heard. So there are good points in digitization, there are bad points. When you come to an organization as Ramakrishna Mission, you take the positives. Because look at the swan, it is taking only the milk and discarding the water. This is the tradition you've come to. Therefore, change management is very important. At home you are different. When you come and sit in this hall, you're different. Are you able to manage that change? Look at Sister Nivedita. She managed the change of cultures. She learned Bengali. When Swamiji was speaking in Bengali and English, I was reminded, if Nivedita could learn Bengali, can we not learn 10 languages of India? Of course, English and Hindi apart. We can, because capability is there, potential is there, you just now heard. That potential let us make use of. Time management, 44 years only. How did she use that time to dedicate herself to the country, to sacrifice her life? When she went to East Bengal, she said they were so poor. She was suffering from malaria, the fever was high. She didn't care, she helped the people in flood. I can go on telling you incident after incident of her life, but then what happens to them? We listen to the incidents. We admire Sister Nivedita. We said, oh, Sister Nivedita, great admiration. We don't learn from Sister Nivedita. We say, oh, Sister Nivedita, sit on a pedestal. Every day I will do pranam to you, but I'm not going to learn from you. That is not necessary. That is what Vivekananda says again and again. He says all of you are potential Vivekanandas. So if you are potential Vivekanandas, can you rest? He says, stop not till the goal is reached. What is your goal? That is the most important question. Look at Nivedita's goal. Her goal was upliftment of Indians, especially Indian women, the education which she gave to Indian women. And she said, don't destroy the already available knowledge in them. These women are highly brilliant. They are well versed. Swamiji's own mother could recite everything. Swamiji says that my phenomenal memory is because I heard my mother's recitations. Can you imagine? This is the culture of the country. We don't require imported ideas like feminism. I'm also a professor in a university, so there are many contradictions, controversies, conflicts. Sister Nivedita was good at conflict resolution. She had many, many conflicts in various parts of her life. People promised to give her money to help the school. They never gave anything. She gave lecture after lecture. She thought when she went abroad, Swamiji would introduce her to everybody. Swamiji says, no, I want you to be independent, we just now heard. I want you to make the impact for yourself. So each of the youngsters here, you learn. Now some values also she had, empathy, the great love she had. The little child who's dead, the young mother is crying. She goes and she is empathizing with them. She's empathizing with a colonized culture, with a colonized nation. Can you imagine the greatness of this person? The leadership which she had? Then she had determination. She had courage. Swamiji called her a lioness, That is what we require. And then, of course, you have her loyalty, her ability to do one thing till, by goal setting I said, to carry out total commitment, whatever she's doing. She would spend writing half the night, and then morning she would come and talk to the girls in the school. One girl who used to do Ekadashi fast, she forgot to feed her one day. Then she started crying. She said, "Oh my God, I forgot to feed you. Come, my child, I couldn't eat food. You also eat with me." This is the kind of ability, this is the kind of quality, the character building which Vivekananda says is a cornerstone of education. Man-making, character building education. You can find that character building happening in Nivedita's life as it goes forward. We know her only for a few years because 1911 she departs. And for those few years, what she has done, for thousands of years, if we talk about it, we read about it, we follow it, I don't think that is going to be enough. So let us now, I see a green light. Let me now tell you about the action plan. No use just coming and sitting here. Swamijis will give you good accommodation, good food, weather is also good. What is your contribution to this whole thing? Individually or collectively, when you go back to your own lives, have some groups. You make a group of 5 or 10 people, not, huge, 1600. Read Sister Nivedita's life. Not many people know. In 150 years of Sister Nivedita, when I was giving so many lectures, 90% of the audience had never heard of Sister Nivedita. Unfortunate. A lady who lived and died for our country. Can you imagine how we have forgotten a part of our tradition? And she was reviving that tradition, the spiritualizing of our national movement. The kind of thing, Kali the mother, she spoke about in the Kali temple. People said, "Oh my God, white woman coming and speaking about Kali." But if you read her book, you will be amazed. You and I have inherited the tradition of Mother Kali. We don't know what this person did. So, in our action plan, reading and discussing is the first point. Have discussions. If you cannot meet, today we have online meets. Anybody can have half an hour Google Meet. 5 friends. Read 1 page of Sister Nivedita's writing. They say it's very tough. I remember Guntur Mataji telling me, Web of Indian Life is very tough. You write a small article on it, simplify it, we will publish. This was done in the 150 years. So it is tough. Those of you who want to learn English, learn from Nivedita, learn from Vivekananda. What purity of English. If you want to learn ideas, there are ideas. If you want to learn values, there are values. These are the models. These days, many youngsters, I have heard, have an ambition that they want to become YouTube influencers. I can see in front of me 1600 YouTube influencers. But what is the subject? Sister Nivedita. So start researching from today. Even if you're a school child, you can start researching. Research doesn't mean you have to reach the university. Start reading in your own language. If you cannot read English, read the translations which are available. Discuss it. Talk about it in YouTube. People all over the world might see it. When you are sharing something in WhatsApp or Instagram or X, what was Twitter earlier, please share these ideas. This is how your patriotism comes forward. Patriotism is not moving mountains. It is said that you know a person's greatness not by seeing their great jobs, but by seeing their simplest job. A small child comes to Hyderabad Mutt and picks up all the paper which other children have thrown. Can you imagine? That small action shows her values, her skills, her leadership qualities. This is happening around us all the time. When you look at Sister Nivedita, you find these are living examples. We say that Sister Nivedita's body remained in Darjeeling, but her spirit is present in you. The spirit is present in this hall. I wish you all the best, and I hope Sister and Swamiji inspire you. Thank you very much.